Aloha, my name is Dr. Nick. I am with Island Holistic Healing. Today's video is how to improve digestion naturally and instantly eliminate abdominal pain. Okay? This is a very important video. Now, interesting. Now, if somebody wants to teach us how to improve digestion, how do you think we best improve our digestive apparatus? Okay, so if anybody tells you anything differently other than resting the digestive apparatus, they're leading you in the wrong direction. Okay? If you want to improve this digestive apparatus, it requires rest. Okay? So many people out there want to tell you how to improve your digestion naturally by doing something or taking something, right? But at the end of the day, the reason why you may need to improve your digestion is because it's overworked, okay? And it needs to rest. Now, a lot of people might imagine that they don't need to stop eating because the food they eat is so good for them. They eat so healthy, so clean, it's all organic, it's all healthy, okay? So then they resist the idea that maybe I need to stop eating because what I give myself is so good, okay? Now, nothing could be further from the truth, okay? Because as human beings, we should have never had any other option other than the best food on the planet. There should never have existed anything else other than organic, whole, healthy foods that would go into our bodies, okay? But even under those perfect conditions, us as human beings, we are created with the ability to be able to undergo a period of complete rest of our digestion, okay? And the reason for this is so that we can not only continue to live even when there's absolutely no food available, when the crops don't come in, but also so that we can heal and catch up on our digestion, okay? So number one, how to improve your digestion naturally is the obvious, or should be the obvious. It needs a period of rest, okay? All these organs get overworked throughout our life, okay? Even though or even if the food that we put in is so perfect, it still needs periods of rest. Okay? So once again, if anybody is telling you that the way to improve your digestion naturally is something special that they have that you should take, okay? The best way is to give it a period of rest, okay? Now, many people throughout their life will at one time or another experience abdominal pain, okay? So, two common areas where people may experience and most likely will experience at least some time in their life is the lower left part of the abdominal quadrant and the lower right abdominal quadrant. Okay? And the reason why when people experience pressure in the abdominal area, that pressure is building up, for instance, in the lower right quadrant. Okay, most common reason why pressure can build up in the lower right quadrant, okay, is because of there's a valve called the Ileocecal Valve in the lower right quadrant, okay, that when it gets backed up and stuck, pressure is going to increase, okay? And if that valve is not opening well and emptying from the small intestine into the large intestine, you're going to build up with pressure in there, okay? So when there's a lot of excess buildup causing that valve to have a difficult time emptying into the large intestine, that valve is going to also calcify, okay? So it can calcify, harden, and lead to more inflammation, and the pressure can build right up there, okay? Now, when we're thinking about the lower left quadrant, okay, we're thinking about the most common condition that people experience in the lower left quadrant, okay? This is diverticulosis, which is known as pockets that develop in this lower left just before reaching the colon and going through eventually through the rectum and anus. So right here before entering in to the colon, diverticulosis is which it can develop, pockets develop where debris gets stuck, okay, and oftentimes will get infected. They call that diverticulitis, okay? So it's bacterial buildup as a result of debris that's building up in there, okay? And of course, when these pockets can develop, you get what is known as a leaky gut syndrome, and therefore debris is going through the walls of the membrane of the intestinal walls and leaking back and forth is occurring, and a lot of that bacteria can actually cause more infection throughout the body. Now, it happens often whereby when we undergo intestinal pain, abdominal pain, it can happen at a time when we're really stressed, we don't have a lot of time, we may be exhausted, fatigued, etc., under deadlines, and it can happen at moments when we just need to clear some of this garbage out so at least we can get through the acute stages of this. Okay, so I am going to show you the best ways to remove and eliminate abdominal pain. Okay, so what I'm going to go over today is I'm going to go over 3 different substances that you can use to instantly eliminate abdominal pain, and all 3 of them are very important. Okay, one is we're going to go over activated charcoal powder. Okay, this activated charcoal is derived from coconut shells. Okay, this is what I personally prefer, is activated charcoal that comes from coconut shells. Okay, so making charcoal from the old coconut shells, okay, makes a really good, healthy activated charcoal. Now, what is activated charcoal? Activated charcoal is an absorbing agent, okay? It's used in many countries as an over-the-counter treatment for abdominal distress, okay? Diarrhea, indigestion, flatulence, constipation, etc., etc. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to take 1 tablespoon to 4 ounces of distilled water, okay? And I'm going to show you to use, now I'm showing you this one because this is the one that I've been using for my own personal activated charcoal, okay? And you need a lid that has a silicone seal, okay? And that silicone seal is really important. Here's one where you can actually see it a little bit better. That silicone seal will keep things from leaking, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use 1 tablespoon of activated charcoal, okay? So we're gonna go in, we're gonna get a tablespoon, okay? And we're gonna put it in the glass, in the mason jar. This is an 8-ounce mason jar. It's very important to have plenty of mason jars in your household. And I'm gonna take distilled water. Okay, this is Dr. Nick's distilled water right here. We make distilled water almost every day. And you have to make distilled water because if you're not making distilled water, you're getting hard minerals in your body that also can lead to the buildup of abdominal pain because those hard minerals build up and cause stones, hardening, okay? And what we don't want in our bodies is hardening of any kind. Hardening of any kind is going to lead to decreased blood flow because that any place hardening is occurring, blood flow is not able to penetrate through easily enough and therefore leads to inflammation, okay? And everyone should understand that inflammation is the beginnings of all disease, okay? Blockage of any kind is the beginnings of disease of all kind. We're gonna pour approximately 4 ounces of water there, okay? And then we're gonna put the cover on. And the reason that I do it this way is because the activated charcoal is very porous, right? That porous quality of the activated charcoal is actually what helps to absorb all of the toxins, okay? When I used to live in Kenya, and one time I remember having some abdominal pain, and I was really like suffering and struggling with what I should do, okay? And the people that worked for me on my farm there all told me to take the charcoal, okay? And this was the charcoal that was where we would light a fire. And this was from the natural trees that we would find out in the bush, right? And anytime we'd make a fire, there was charcoal, and they said take that charcoal. And I thought to myself, really? Huh, interesting. I had never even thought of such an idea, you know? What is that gonna do, you know? But these people that have zero education, well, I shouldn't say zero, but almost no education in the area where I was, right? It was very, very remote, very rural, never had any real development of any kind. You know, they'd never been in cars or buses or anything like that. But they knew that if you have abdominal discomfort, to eat the charcoal. Thought that was kind of interesting. At that time, I didn't know. And, you know, now lots of people know. And that's why now we have access to so much of this activated charcoal in the health related field. So this activated charcoal, we're going to drink. And there's so many additional benefits of the activated charcoal. They found that it contains a compound known as C60. Okay, and C60 has been studied as the only substance that they've ever found that truly leads to essentially longevity. Sorry, it's the only true study that benefits longevity. So the study that they did by giving C60 every day, they found the ones that were getting the C60 were able to live longer. And activated charcoal contains C60. Okay? So there's the activated charcoal. Now, that's a simple one, okay? I wouldn't rely upon, if you're in really serious acute abdominal pain, I wouldn't rely upon that as your only treatment, okay? Now, in our practice, we believe in teaching you all of the therapies, and when you do all of the therapies combined, so we combine these therapies for maximum results, okay? It's the combination of therapies that will give you the best results, okay? Now we're gonna go to the next substance number 2, okay? This is known as ethylene diamine tetracetic acid, okay? EDTA, and the oral substance that we're going to take is EDTA disodium. Some people have a question when they go and they start looking for the product. Hey, Dr. Nick, is this the one? So this is the one, okay? If you have any questions, this is the one. It's on Amazon by this company, Bulk Supplements. There's some other companies that also sell the EDTA at smaller quantities. But if you know you're going to use it quite enough, because this is really a good substance to have in your medicine cabinet. Okay, so our medicine cabinet is going to have natural substances. Now EDTA is amazing, right? Because it's going to bind and eliminate hard minerals in your body. Okay, so it's very effective at removing the hardening that builds up all over different parts of your body. Okay, now when we take it orally and by enema, we're able to help to clear hardening throughout our digestive tract, okay, through this tube from our mouth to our anus. So EDTA, it's an amino acid, and I'm going to show you guys how to use it for taking by mouth, taking by enema, and then I'll also show you how to make the eye drops, okay? Because the most common reason why people lose their vision and the longevity of their eyes is due to hardening of the tiny capillaries to the eyes. Okay, so when we're doing EDTA, okay, we've got the enema, which is going to be a 32-ounce jar of water. We've got the 4-ounce for taking by mouth, okay? And by mouth, we're going to take 1/4 teaspoon, okay? And so my measurements are over at the retreat location, so I don't have all of my measurements. This is a half a teaspoon, okay? But it doesn't take rocket science. We're gonna do, I would prefer to have my quarter teaspoon measuring, but I just don't have it in this kitchen at this moment. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take half a teaspoon, okay? So we're gonna take half a teaspoon, okay? And that's gonna be for oral use, okay? We're gonna take our electric hot water heater, okay? Everyone should have an electric hot water heater. When it comes to EDTA, we want to dissolve it in hot water, okay? Because it's easier to get all of the EDTA in your mouth and in the enema after it's already been dissolved in hot water. Okay, so next for the enema, we're gonna do a tablespoon to 32 ounces of water, okay? Okay, there we go. I recommend a large amount for the enema, the 1 tablespoon, because it's going to give you the best results, really, truly. I have experience. Okay, so we're gonna wait for that, and then we're gonna actually do one more. We're gonna do 1/8 of a teaspoon as well. So let's do that one, because that's gonna be for our eye drops. So EDTA eye drops, I'm almost finished with it, so I will just make another one now. Since I'm gonna do this for you guys now, I might as well add that in as a bonus. Okay, so we're gonna do, there we go. I'm gonna do the 32 ounce water, but we don't need the whole thing to be hot, because we don't want the whole thing to be hot when we do the enema. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna stir it real good in that hot water. And that'll help to dissolve it better. See how it's dissolving real good? And especially when you do the enema, it's really important, because otherwise it'll get blocked up and it won't flow, okay? So the areas where if it's not a perfect liquid, the EDTA granules will get backed up in here, and then it can be a real challenge to get it to work. This one is I recommend this one. This is what we use with all of our retreat clients, is a silicone non-toxic enema bag. And this one is great because it goes up to, you can put 64 ounces in here, and it works really good, as long as you don't get it backed up with other things. Now we're gonna then add normal temperature water all the way to the top, okay? And then this one is the one we're gonna drink, okay? So we're getting this abdominal discomfort from all directions, right? We don't rely upon just one method or one direction. We go after it and we get it done, okay? We don't mess around. We get it done, okay? And then I'll drink that after it's cooled down a little bit. It's a little bit too hot for drinking. And I don't want to add more water to that, because I prefer to just drink it quicker than slower, okay? And then we're gonna do one more. We're gonna make a little bit more of the eye drops. Since I use it quite often, might as well make some now. Okay, we're gonna do 1/8 of a teaspoon with that. I'm gonna add the hot water once again to dissolve it real good. There we go. And then I put it into a 1 ounce eyedropper, okay? Even though we're making 4 ounces, okay? So I just drink the rest of it after I make this for the eye drops. We're just gonna, once again, we're gonna stir it real good with real hot water. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna take 1 ounce of this and I'm gonna put it into my Edta eye drop for daily use. Okay, now the next therapy will be castor oil. Okay, castor oil is from the castor bean. It's a natural laxative. It's been used for long time as a natural laxative. It's very moisturizing and lubricating. As far as a lubricant goes and a moisturizing agent, there's nothing better than this. It's the best lubricant for the eyes. We have a bottle for the castor oil for lubricating the eyes, the ears, the skin, and the hair. It's the best lubricant for it's the best lubricant for sex, especially anal sex, which requires the best lubrication for comfort. So, just as an FYI, it's very super helpful, and for enema use. Okay, this is really at the end of the day going to be the best lubricant for enema. However, you can use other lubricants for doing the enema with, but definitely a little bit of castor oil is going to go the longest way for you. Okay. Now the use for our abdominal discomfort is we're going to drink depending upon how you're feeling. Okay. If you are in a lot of discomfort, you're going to drink 3 tablespoons of this early in the morning on an empty stomach. Okay? If you're feeling mildly discomfort, you're going to drink at least 1 tablespoon. Okay? So 1 to 3 tablespoons is going to give you an amazing elimination. It's going to be one of the best eliminations you've ever had. It's going to soften everything and help you to eliminate it. Okay? And then you're going to wait 2 to 4 hours. Okay? To wait 2 to 4 hours for a really amazing release. Now, it's also important to note in this video that females oftentimes undergo an increase in pressure during their period, okay, which happens typically around once a month. Okay, so these strategies, number 1, resting your digestion before your period. Okay, so if you rest your digestion 1 to 2 days before your period begins, and if you still have discomfort during your period, now you know how to eliminate that pressure naturally. Okay, now I'm Dr. Nick, Island Holistic Healing. I will be posting educational videos consistently. Okay, and if you would like my help, go to my website, islandholistichealing.com. You can email me at drnick@islandholistichealing.com. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, and you are always going to learn how to be your own doctor and all of the strategies how to never need to waste your time at a medical doctor's office again. Okay? Mahalo for listening, and aloha.